hope is a very powerful tool. It gets you through a lot of things. So you have to believe that you can make a difference. It's actually a good friend of mine that I first met working together many, many, many years ago in consulting, and we've worked together in different companies over time. He lives in Chicago in the Loop, and he has a loft in kind of the inner part of the city there. And when I started working here, I said to him, James, you need to go and get some plants. And he said, why would I get plants? I have a balcony and I'm in the middle of the city. Nothing comes to the middle of the city. And I said, trust me on this one. Just buy 3 plants. Just get some pots, get some dirt, and put it on there because he doesn't have a yard. He said, okay, I'll do that. A month after the plants were put in the ground, he texts me out of the way. He's like, oh my God, there's a monarch on my balcony. Right? So it's funny because also I think as we get to a certain age, and there's so many memes out there of this about people who become bird watchers or become wildlife watchers, is that once you discover it, it's like this whole other hidden world you had no idea was around you. And then you start looking for it everywhere. And it's amazing because it really does, like, it reinforces. It's almost like a flywheel. Then you get more hope. Then you go, what else can I do? What other thing can I do? And that actually led to a program we launched last year, which I'm super proud of, which is, is if you're familiar with, I'm sure you are, things like Warby Parker and Tom's Shoes and Bombas, and how they have these programs where, for every pair of eyeglasses they sell, they give away a pair and for every pair of shoes they sell, they give away a pair for free, or socks, right? So we're like, well, why don't we do the same thing? And so we did the same. We did exactly the same thing. We launched a program that we call the Plant Bank, where essentially for as many plants as we sell, we donate the same number, but we don't do one for one because it's not really scalable. What we do instead are gardens. And so the very first one we did was in East Baltimore last June. So I'm looking forward to going back soon and seeing it blooming now a year later, because these perennial plants, they spend the first year really growing their roots deep, and then they start to explode outward with just amazing gardens. And we planted last year, since we launched the program in June, we planted 87 gardens across the country. And each one we put in hundreds of plants to create places to really help with a bit of the environmental justice lens as well, because there are lots of places that have been marginalized historically in our country. You think about tree cover, you think about obviously native plants as well. And so we're putting them in places like inner city schools, community gardens, houses of worship, where we can expose more people to this nature as well. Because let's be frank, the pollinators and the songbirds don't care what your zip code is and how affluent you are. They go where they need to go. And so we're creating corridors for them. And so we get to multiple benefits out of this same program. And we put them in across the 41 states that we operate in. We're now in Colorado actually as well. We just opened up this year, so we're in Colorado too. But we have many more that we're planning on doing this year as well and going forward. So if any of your listeners are with a community group or a community garden or not for profit and would love a garden, they're free. Like literally, all you do is the shipping cost, which is quite low. It's, I think it's like $15 per tray of plants, but you get hundreds of plants, and it's on our website. You can go there and it's a simple form, apply, and you get a free garden. The reason I bring that up though is that as people start to do it in their own yards, the next step is then volunteering, because these gardens are planted by volunteers, and we get lots of volunteers to come out and plant these gardens, which gets people connected with each other, but also with nature and with giving back. So it becomes again this virtuous cycle.